Welcome back to Look Who's Talking.
Welcome back. It's episode 2. Look Who's Talking.
We're back, people. We're back.
Hey, happy to be here in the Bogoshian home, talking sports, talking the weekend, talking literally probably anything that comes to our mind at this point.
Yeah, that's the point of the podcast. Just two guys, average-looking Joes that work as salesmen in downtown Austin, just talking shop.
Wanted to say appreciate the fanfare, appreciate the feedback. Everyone that got back to us, a couple of texts that me and Zach got included on, we really appreciate it because, again, I'm not sure we know what we're talking about, but for you guys to reach out to us, it meant a lot.
I don't want to brag or anything, but we do have a couple 5-star reviews on Apple Pod. So if you do want to put in a little review, feel free to give us a rating. I won't force the 5-star, but I'd love that. So
episode 2, here we are. ZB,
Yeah.
how was the weekend?
Oh man, it was a weekend, Zach. I mean, my friend over here was actually in Florida for the weekend with the girlfriend and another couple. I was not doing that on the beach. I was actually babysitting on Saturday during some actually terrible college football.
Yikes.
But yeah, babysitting a 1.5-year-old and a 5-year-old. It was something, but
Time well spent.
Oh, time well spent with the kids, just prepping for fatherhood.
I was gonna say, is that mean a timeline with you and Mandy?
No, we're holding back. The wife
Okay.
does not want kids anytime soon, and neither do I. But let me tell you, Ohio State, Michigan State, Justin Fields, to be talked about in this podcast. Not a great game, but I was missing out watching a little bit of the Teletubbies with the kids, man. Let me tell you.
Brutal go of it on college football Saturday.
It was rough out there, Cotton. It was rough. But Z, tell us about the weekend. Tell us about the beach. Did you get some rays?
St. Petersburg, Florida. We were there. We were on the beach. The sands, they're white. The skies, they're blue. The water's blue. We had a great time. You expected a little showers, a little bit of bad weather. We get there. Let me tell you, it was 90. It was sunny. We were vibing. We were drinking. We were hanging out. Anyways, shout out to the Fisher family. Great host. Shout out to my girlfriend, Ashley Fisher, for hosting
Zach,
us.
go-to beer. Go-to beer. What
Oh,
is it?
yikes.
Go-to beer on the beach.
Let me tell you, there were a lot of White Claws consumed.
Oh, yeah.
It
You
must
gotta.
be just, kind of.
Ain't no laws where there's white claws. Am I right?
Wow, he went there. But no, yeah, a lot of White Claws, a lot of hanging out, a couple of Dos Equis with some lime.
Yep.
But I did tune in to watch my Horns. Best thing I saw, Sam Cosmi, left tackle, took in a run to the end zone in front of a bunch of roaring Westphal fans, bunch of Backwoods fans getting a little aggressive. Best thing I saw. Have you ever seen a left tackle take something into the end zone from 20 yards out, ZB?
I thought I was going to see it. I thought I was going to see a defensive lineman in the Auburn-Florida game in the swamp take one back from the 20-yard line, but that man fell and tripped. And I mean, come on. The big man was running, and he couldn't do it. He could not do it. He ran out of gas. He was on empty.
What do they call it, the turf monster?
Something like that. But the swamp got to him. Is
that what gets you there? But anyways, after the best ball tune-up, looking forward to OU Hate Week this week, heading up to Dallas, making the trip up 35. Should be a really good time. But let's hop into the first segment. We're going to talk a little college football. Give you some NCAA recap. Zach said it best. Not a lot happening in the top 10. The only game that had much impact on potential playoff potential, you had Auburn and Florida. What did you see in that Auburn-Florida game?
It was a good game. End of the day, when you watch that game, you kind of watch it, and after the game, you realize that those two teams are the 4th and 5th best teams in the SEC. You got Bama, you got Georgia, you got LSU, and those two teams will not be competing with them. But they're talented nonetheless. They have very good defenses. I mean, the Auburn defensive line was going at Trask like no other. You saw a couple forced fumbles. But I got to give it up to the Florida Gators and Dan Mullen. I kind of gave it to him a little bit last week, but he came with a great game plan. Trask, the senior who hasn't started a game since his junior year in high school, came to play, threw 2 touchdowns. He definitely looked composed, and you gotta love also the injury to the knee. I mean, I thought the man was going to be out for the season.
Looks
After
like he broke
watching
his leg in 12 places.
It really did. It really did. I mean, I've had a couple knee surgeries. That looked painful. It brought me back down memory lane. But
Yikes.
he came back as a senior and got back on the field and led the team to victory. Auburn, Bo Nix, freshman. He looked like a freshman.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's gonna happen. What do you?
Yeah. I'll say that too. I'll kind of piggyback with you there with these two teams being led by freshman quarter. Are they true freshman quarterback? Kyle Trask, Bo Nix, true freshman.
Trask senior.
Trask is?
Trask is senior.
Yes. Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Bo Nix, true freshman. Trask senior.
Wait,
transferred
so
from Kentucky.
Took over for Franks?
Yes. Took over for Franks.
Is Franks benched?
Franks
Bring me up
is hurt.
to speed.
Let me help you out. I gotta help my man out here. Felipe Franks is injured. He is a redshirt senior.
Okay.
I don't know if he's gonna get the medical redshirt. Kyle Trask is a senior. This is his last year playing college football. But,
shout out to Trask.
But yeah, so he hadn't started. This was crazy. He had not started a game in his career since his junior year of high school. So he's been waiting his time.
Wow.
And that's why it was very difficult to see the kid get the knee injury after his second or third start, and then that's what happens.
No, being in Florida, watching the game with an Auburn fan. Shout out to Will. Just went through an absolute terrible time. Was just saying, how in the world are we gonna lose to Auburn? Was talking about Dan Mullen, how he never wins the big game. They get in there, but you only go as far as Bo Nix can take you. When you have a freshman quarterback like that, you're not necessarily battle tested. You can't go into the swamp. You can't get a victory like that, and it's just tough because you would have liked to see Auburn win that game and then see how it plays out in the SEC. But
100%.
I think, like you said, the top tier SEC teams, they're going to separate themselves from the Auburns of the world in Florida at the end of the day.
100%. Diving in a little Big Ten football, you had a big matchup, Ohio State. You had the Buckeyes and the Spartans in Ohio State. And, Michigan State, they did take the L to my Arizona State Sun Devils earlier this year. I have to shout my Devils out for that big road win. But Michigan State with a terrifying run defense. I mean, absurd. They came in and it was torn apart, quite frankly. I mean, Ohio State came in, shredded them on the ground, and Fields looked great, composed in his first real big game. It was a big game.
Yeah, I was about to say, with Fields and those guys, it looked like not their best game, not Ohio State's best game, but for them to win in that nature and for them to show that they're dominant, I think it's an early indication that they're a playoff team.
Yes.
Would you go as far to say they're a shoo-in?
They're a shoo-in. I mean, no one in the Big Ten. I won't say no one. Wisconsin, the jury's out. Good program for sure. We're still waiting to see them get battle tested. But Ohio State's got NFL talent on both sides of the ball. They got Chase Young on the D-line, who is just going at Brian Lewerke. And shout out to my guy, Brian Lewerke. He is a Pinnacle High School alum like myself, a great dude. So I felt bad for him on Saturday night watching a NFL D-lineman go at him constantly.
Tell me this. What did the competition look like between Fromm and Fields on campus when they were both at Georgia? If Fields is looking this good when you tune into the tube on Saturdays and Fromm had the balls to beat this guy out, what does that competition look like? How did Fields not beat Fromm out?
I'm a big Jake Fromm guy. I love the kid's personality, his fire, his demeanor, but if I'm Kirby Smart, I have to be thinking, did we pick the right guy?
It begs the question. Jake Fromm, is he labeled a game manager? Can he win the big game? Whereas Fields, it's like this guy, dual threat. He's throwing it all over the place. He's running all over the place. He's more mobile than Fromm.
I told Zach this the other day. He is Cam Newton, but way more accurate of an arm. The kid's got a live arm. Can throw the deep ball, but his how he throws the 10 yards and in routes are precision. He's talented quarterback that'll be playing on the next level one day.
I think a perfect segue into what is being called the Magnificent Seven QBs. Now, ZB has dived into the analytics. He's dived in. he sat down with quarterback whisperers around the country, and he has compiled a list that is about to grace your ears of the 7 best quarterbacks in college football.
Oh, man. Traveling the country, more so the office, to get some of our colleagues' thoughts on quarterbacks within college football. But, man, do we have some good ones? I can't help but watch these quarterbacks play and think we're living in one of the best eras of college football quarterbacks. And I don't know if it's the spread offense or if we're grooming these kids a little bit different, but the Elite 11 kids are coming to play here in college football. We're going to start it out in the Fantastic 7. This is a fun segment. We'll follow it, see if our rankings change each week. But here we're going to start it out. Number 7. He's a man from LSU, Louisiana State University. His name is Joe Burrow. This kid was not anywhere on the scene to start out the year. An Ohio State transfer who played, behind J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, goes to LSU. And he is talented. I mean, last year he was great. But we're seeing another level of Joe Burrow. The kid's single-handedly putting himself into an NFL talent where he might be a first-round draft pick this year.
You know what, ZB? Saw it with my own 2 eyes. LSU, Texas, in Austin. We're thinking, hey, we can compete with these guys. We got the athletes. We can win the trenches. We can win the battle on the outside. We've got the athletes to stay in front. Let's just turn Joe Burrow into a game manager. And that guy came out and absolutely torched us.
Zach, give me the initial thoughts when you looked at him on the sideline after that touchdown throw, just waving at the UT
goodbye
fans.
to us. There's a couple words that I can't spare in our podcast, but this
Brutal.
Man had the audacity to turn to the fans, give us a little wave goodbye. Man, was it brutal.
It is simple actions.
Good quarterback.
Good quarterback. Not on to number 6. We're going to a guy that was just spoken about. Is he a game manager? I'm not sure, but the kid is talented. He shows up on the big stage, except for the Sugar Bowl last year. Hook 'em. Jake Fromm. I think this kid's talented. He's got everything you're looking for, and I think what you love about Jake Fromm is his demeanor, his leadership capabilities, the ability to go in and just get a locker room to rally around him constantly. I mean, this kid, if you put him on the next level, I think he's got the arm talent. I think he's got the size. He's got the ability to lead others. I think he's got it all. We'll just see if he can make the big throw in the big moment.
I alluded to it earlier in the pod. The guy has beat out Jacob Eason. The guy's beat out Fields. I mean, there's something to be said about, I think, the intangibles, like you're saying. How has he become this national spotlight quarterback? How has he put himself in this position? It's because of the intangibles. It's because he can win the locker room. It's because that he has these things that you just can't really coach.
100%. He's talented. But going on to 5, number 5. We're in the top 5, people. We got a kid from the West Coast. I love my West Coast quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, Oregon. Justin Herbert, he's got similar structure to Joe Burrow, to Jake Fromm. He's tall, he's strong, but he has got a cannon of an arm. The kid can throw. If you don't get to see some Pac-12 After Dark, tune in, people, because the kid is a player. Zach's nodding his head. He is not a fan of Pac-12 football. But watch my Sun Devils, all right? Let's take a look. But I'm saying this kid, Herbert, I've watched him tear it up at Oregon for the past couple of years. He's talented, but he's the one that no one knows of.
ZB said it best. I'm in bed for Pac-12 football. I haven't watched Herbert play. Not sure about him. The pundits love him. He's flying up draft boards. People love his size. They love his arm talent. I'm not going to tell the people that I've seen him play.
Question.
Maybe once or twice.
Here's the question. Is he the next big bust of a quarterback? Is he? I don't know. We'll see. But he's talented. On to 4. We're getting into really the top 4 Heisman runners, excluding Joe Burrow. He's obviously in that conversation. But Jalen Hurts, the transfer from Alabama, the kid who let the freshman Tua Tagovailoa come in, take his place, and was a terrific teammate. He transfers to Oklahoma, and I don't think anyone in America really knew, Zach, that this kid was this type of player. I mean, he might be playing himself into a first-round pick as well. You'll see. We've got about 4 or 5 kids who could be first-round picks this year. We're gonna have a good run at them in April. But what are your thoughts on Hurts?
Can't wait for the showdown.
Oh,
Jalen Hurts, Sam Ehlinger. You gotta love this Hurts kid. I mean, I think the nation fell in love with him in that interview. You know the interview I'm talking about. He had lost the job. Tua had just led Alabama to a championship, and they throw a mic in his face. And what does the kid do? He just reacts in the most poised, mature way that you possibly could. Congratulates Tua, moves on with his life. He's humble. He works hard. You saw him throwing around the medicine ball after he gave it to Texas Tech the other week.
A coach's dream.
Yikes.
A coach's dream.
Yikes, this guy wants to be great.
Selfless, great, determined, terrific teammate. That's what you described Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, we're going to see him, little envious. He's a good quarterback. We're going to see him toe-to-toe. Sam Ehlinger. We'll see you in Dallas, Jalen. We'll see you in Dallas.
Maybe a little analysis later on that game from the one and only Zach Overby. On to number 3, we've got Justin Fields, Ohio State. Like I said, I love this kid. I think he's up there with Tua and Trevor Lawrence. I think this kid's got it all. He's a little bit of a different quarterback. He's athletic. He can run out of the pocket. He can do those inside zone runs like a Newton, where you just hike it, direct snap right to him and goes at those defensive tackles and linebackers because he's big, he's athletic, he's talented. The arm is live. And he's got a little bit of everything. The one thing, if you tune in to QB1, it's a Netflix show, and I am obsessed. I love seeing the background, so I'm a big Jake Fromm guy. But Fields, I question his ability to lead. Not that he wasn't a good leader, but
more of a passive guy.
He's a passive guy. I don't know how that works in the locker room, but I don't know.
I think maybe a dark horse, and you might can echo this, maybe a dark horse Heisman candidate.
Yes. Yeah.
Completely. No one's really talking about it.
Completely. The kid is dominating on both sides. I mean, the kid's running for 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns, throwing for 200+ and 2 touchdowns. You're seeing it in both phases of the game. So he's talented. But let's move on to the top 2. Tough decision, but it's going down to the 2 quarterbacks we've seen in the championship the past couple of years. Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa. And with the performance that we've seen out of Lawrence lately, I've got to have him at 2. He's not been great by any means. I think he's incredibly talented. I love his demeanor. I love his intangibles. It's got me thinking, Zach, is he not playing well because he's simply just bored? Get me on to the next level. Get me on to the next level. Let's bump it up from having to be in 3 years to 2. Let's get this kid in the draft. Let's get him on an NFL stage. The kid is talented.
You heard it. Episode 2, look who's talking. This man just said Trevor Lawrence is bored with the college competition. He wants to play grown men football, NFL, National Football League. Sign me up, Trevor Lawrence. Sign me up. You still got a year in college, buddy.
Get me on the Miami Dolphins. Let me turn this franchise around. All right, on to 1, Tua Tagovailoa. I love to say his last name just because I can simply say it. My cousin Hayden Frederick.
I was going to say, pause real quick. Does anyone say Tua Tagovailoa is better than ZB? Anybody?
I got to real quick shout out my cousin Hayden Frederick. He texted me immediately after the pod, said he loved it. Thank you for your kind words. But he also did. He definitely crapped on me for saying Tagovailoa as many times I did, and it really just slides off the tongue for me. So let's just keep this one short. The kid's a lefty gunslinger. I love it. The kid comes in, wins a championship as a freshman. He is oh my gosh, he's got it all. The size is a question. Is he? You got Kyler Murray in the league. He's doing well as a rookie, but we'll see. We'll see if the size is an issue. But the arm is incredible. I mean, Zach throwing 40, 50 yarders, and it's right on the money every time.
Yeah, the guy's consistent. The guy's consistent. You know what you're signing up for when you get to it. When he's running out on the field with that offense, it's wide receiver you, for God's sakes. He's throwing the freaks on the outside. They're Jarrett Judy, whoever else is out there. Who's the other kid that just came on as of late?
They got the kid Smith, Devontae Smith, who had 5 touchdowns against Ole Miss.
God, dude.
I don't know. I said, we don't really know what we're talking about, but I think that's right. I don't know.
I saw a thing that stuck out to me. What were they playing? Rock, paper, scissors for who's going to run the deep route? Did you see that?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
You see that?
Yes, yes.
See that?
That was incredible.
2 weeks ago or a week ago. That being said, before we go into our next segment, who's feeling the juice and who's not? We're going to take a quick break. Thanks for being with us. Welcome back. Welcome back to the best segment, maybe of Pod 2. Who's feeling the juice and who's not? First and foremost,
So
trending up, Russell Wilson. Give me your thoughts on Russell Wilson. He's feeling the juice.
He is feeling the juice. That man, after that Rams game, was in tears, quite frankly. He's on fire. I'm not going to verify, but it's got to be 13 touchdowns. I don't think he's thrown a pick. I think he's ran for 4. The dude is on fire. Also, can we just take a look at this man's receiving options? Tyler Lockett is your number 1, the K-State grad. Zach, I mean, Will Dissly is your tight end, and he's like a fantasy superstar right now. You got Chris Carson in the backfield. Jerron Brown? Is he your number 2? Like, what is going on in Seattle?
Couldn't tell you much about his options. I could tell you this. Russell Wilson is that guy. Russell Wilson single-handedly stole Sierra from Future and is just raising those kids like a grown man would, and he plays the game of football.
A grown-ass man.
Russell Wilson, this guy, over the last 19 games, listen to this stat drop, CB. 42 tuds, 4 INTs. 19 games, 42 tuds. The guy's barely 6 foot, and he's dropping dimes.
That's why my Arizona Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray, number 1 overall, folks. Let's see if he can repeat it.
Gosh, okay. That was Russell. He was trending up. Let's talk about who's trending down. Maybe a friend of the pod, maybe not. Patrick Mahomes.
A friend of a pod for sure, but trending down, most definitely.
Rough game.
However, you got to give it to him. Not throwing any interceptions. He's not turning the ball over. He is not getting the touchdowns we're used to. He also got a big loss on Sunday night in prime time to the Indianapolis Colts with Jacoby Brissett leading the team. It is a big L. Big L for them. I think they'll be fine. They'll bounce back. Mahomes will find the magic. But a big weapon coming back for the Chiefs this week is Tyreek Hill. They need him desperately because he's tired of throwing to Mecole Hardman. And this new guy just popped up out of nowhere, like Bugby or something. I don't even know his last name. I swear, I saw it and I was in awe that a random dude came off the street and he started chucking it to him.
I can't keep up. Mahomes is trending down in this segment, but, talk to us next week. He might be feeling the juice. You get Tyreek Hill back. That guy's fast as a cheetah. I think they actually call him Cheetah. Might be his Twitter handle. I'm not sure.
I got to add in on this. Yeah. You know that you are great.
Sam, producer Sam, big Patrick Mahomes guy. Give us your take.
You know that you are great when you have 2 consecutive games with a quarterback rating of over 80, and people are worried about you. People are worried. Yeah. You have 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. You played against some pretty good competition. The Colts, 3-2.
Lions, they're really solid.
You have nothing to fear.
No,
okay.
I think
you heard it here. You heard it here.
We got producer Sam coming with the juice, but he's right. The expectation level for Patrick Mahomes is MVP level. Every time we've actually lost.
We lost Zach.
I lost my words, folks. I lost my words.
He tried to bring the juice on the juice segment.
Too juicy.
Totally.
Too much pulp on that juice. Bring it back.
Totally lost him, but no. Producer Sam's got a great point. The expectation level for Mahomes is out of this world. He has one of these games where he's not throwing no look passes, and we're like, okay, what's wrong with Mahomes?
Yeah. Good point.
Back to trending up. Not a friend of the pod, someone who we actually dragged through the mud. Captain Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Wow, what a performance! Adam Thielen, probably Thielen, but and then Stephon Diggs. Going at my man. I mean, straight up calling him out in public, going at him on the sidelines, requesting trades. And you know what Kirk Cousins does? He does not put his head down. He doesn't go home sobbing. He comes out and puts up 300 yards and 3 TDs and gets a victory.
Love it.
Freaking love that, Kirk.
Love that.
Love it.
Grit your teeth. Stick your freaking heels in the ground. Go out. It's all about the W's,
and
Kirk.
And battle on the gridiron.
Oh, man, I love this guy. I love this
Kirk,
guy.
come on the pod. Come on the pod, Kirk.
Forget what we said last week,
Be a friend
Kirk.
of the pod. Come on. We'd love to have you.
Forget what we said. No, you hear about now these guys, was that stuff directed at the head coach? Was it the play calling? Maybe it wasn't necessarily directed at Kirk last week. He comes out. He gets a W. Maybe it's not so much to blame on Kirk Cousins. Maybe it's more the play calling. And, Stephon Diggs, he's upset. Thielen, he's upset too. Vikings trending up.
Pat Shurmur, let it fly.
Let's talk about someone who is trending down. Baker Mayfield.
The local kid. Friend of the pod, I think. But yeah, Baker trending down. Did you see that Monday night performance? First of all, I got to give a shout out to Baker Mayfield, actually. He single-handedly just won me my fantasy matchup, which is incredible.
By going negative.
Also, negative 2 points. Won me my fantasy matchup. I don't know how, but he did it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Baker. But I also got to give it. I watched the whole game against the Niners. What in the world is this offensive line doing? I mean, are they out there eating cupcakes? What is going on? Eating cupcakes? And is Kevin Durant handing my man off some cupcakes?
Oh, no.
What is going on?
One word
Greg Robinson. I'm calling you out.
One word comes to mind, ZB. Dare I say it? Swiss cheese. These guys cannot block anybody. And Baker is becoming the laughingstock of all the pundits on TV that are saying, Colin Cowherd, he's getting after him. Everyone's getting after Baker for doing all the commercials. We've got producer Sam. I know he has something to say about Baker.
Give us the insight, producer Sam.
It doesn't look good for him. And it's starting to not look good for Cleveland. I don't know. A lot of people are suggesting that they have an asset in Odell, that they need to trade him. I just don't know what this team's identity is. Baker looks terrible. It's not like we should be worried that he's regressing. When you go into next week, I mean, what other options do you have? Who else can throw the football there? Because Baker can't.
I'll throw you one. My wife was actually watching a football game last night. It was pretty great. I mean, incredible. She was doing some analysis of the game. Definitely called out Robbie Gould a couple times for missing easy 48-yarders. But but how about this? Garrett Gilbert and Baker Mayfield, the two Lake Travis grads, are the two quarterbacks on the roster. Shout out Austin, Texas, but it ain't looking good in Cleveland.
My goodness. Talked about it earlier in the pod, doing a little pregame segment. How does this guy continue to make a roster and pick up a check? I mean,
a check.
Exactly. Back at Texas, you look at the guy, he threw a really wobbly football, managed to throw it in the dirt more times than not. And I think he's got a Super Bowl ring sitting behind Tom. I think he's just, sitting there, undercover millionaire. I'm not sure how he is on a roster still.
The American dream.
Open tryouts for Cleveland.
Backup
starting next week.
Yes.
Love it. Going back to the trending down, who doesn't have the juice? Who's not feeling it? Dak Prescott.
Yes, absolutely. I called him out last week. I actually compared him to Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk. We got some hate, actually, on the Instagram, and it's fine. It's fine. Don't tell me I was right, because guess what? I was. Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, the same man living in two bodies. Dak, I don't want to hear. I do not want to hear his stats. I don't want to hear the stat line. I saw the game. I watched the entire game. I don't want to see who threw for 450. I'm happy he can throw against a prevent defense in the fourth quarter. Great job. All I saw was two freaking terrible throws, and the Green Bay defense just making a joke out of him the whole game. I don't want to hear Dak Prescott. He's not winning the Super Bowl. He will win you 10 games once every 3 years. Zach, stop me while I'm hot.
I just want to turn to producer Sam. He looks distraught. He looks distraught right now. Producer Sam, what are you saying?
Don't look at the stats. That's when you know that you're just talking about someone with an eye test. You look at who he's played. They've had a very weird start to the season. You play some of the worst teams in the NFL, two of the worst teams in the NFC, and then you have to play arguably the two best teams in the NFC. And what happens is you lose to the best teams in the NFC and you beat the worst teams in the NFL. They go to New York. They play the Jets. That's going to be an easy win. They're going to be 4-2. Eagles in the meantime play the Vikings. When you look at why you play regular season, you play so that you can put yourself in a good spot in the playoffs so that you could do well and ultimately go to the Super Bowl. And I think that the second half was a win for the Cowboys, despite the fact that they lost to the Packers. And here's what I mean by that. You learn more if you lose to a great team when they're playing well and you lose basically by just 2 possessions. It could have just been 1. And your defense, your offense learns how to play
like against, Cowboys fan.
How to play against adversity. This is what would not have been good. If you had a scenario where Aaron Rodgers is playing bad and the defense is awful, and then the Cowboys just blow out, you have this confidence. It's not really rooted in anything. So I think that they go into next week, they have a good game plan, and they fix stuff, as opposed to kind of having this mentality that they can beat anyone just because the Packers maybe didn't play well. The Packers played a great game. Aaron Rodgers looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, as I've always said that he is, and I think they bounce back. I still think they win the division. I think that the Giants are doing better, but I think the Eagles will be number 2, probably take the wild card, and I think that we'll play at least one game at home in the playoffs.
Agree to disagree.
I'm envisioning a little bit of this. Dak's driving down the highway. He's in a Tahoe, whatever he drives, and he is throwing money out the window at this point. He's throwing money. This guy's in a contract year. He's playing for the contract. There's the talk of, the negotiations that happened before the season, and things are trending down for my guy. I love the guy. I talked about it on last week's pod. He's got all the intangibles. He's your locker room guy. He's a leader, but the eye test for me, it's not there. He doesn't do the things that really, really great quarterbacks do that get you that paycheck.
Yeah, 100%. We'll leave it at that.
Going into our final segment of who's feeling the juice and who's not, call him a friend of the pod, call him an enemy of the pod. ZB said it best last week. Teddy Two Gloves.
Teddy Two Gloves. All right.
This guy's trending up.
First of all right. I'm going to give some more fantasy analysis on my team. Going into this week, I got Stafford. I got Drew Brees as my quarterback. Stafford on a bye. Brees can't hold a football, so I'm struggling. I decided to take a risk on Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater. Thinking, I think he's got it. I think he's got the juice. Something was telling me he's got the juice.
Wow.
Inspirational, quite frankly. I end up, adding him last second. Starts as my quarterback. And wow, 35.4 whopping points. He gives me the dub. He leads the team. But what a better story than Teddy Two Gloves. The guy is just incredible. How he's battled adversity. From a Louisville grad to a first-round pick, going to the Minnesota Vikings, and then ended up with a horrific injury. Goes to the Jets and traded 6 months later. Now he is backing up Drew Brees and gets his chance. He has not lost a game as a starter. He's 2-0 with wins at Seattle and at home in a critical division game against Tampa. You got to love this guy, Zach.
No one talks about Teddy Two Gloves and how he got Charlie Strong paid. Charlie Strong is at Louisville, and Teddy Two Gloves literally is winning this man football games, gets him a job at the University of Texas, signs a big contract, gets Charlie his next job at USF just because he's still riding the coattails of Teddy Two Gloves. The guy single-handedly, created a storyline for Charlie Strong. But what you really love about this guy, he's humble. He's a really good dude. This guy in his post-game interviews, pre-game interviews, whenever you talk to him, he's reflecting on the time that he was injured, just working on himself. Just working on Teddy Two Gloves. Not one gloves, but two. And he's also working on his leg when he snapped it. So, gruesome injury. You love to see guys like that bounce back. It shows true adversity. It shows that you can persevere. But Teddy Two Gloves, now a friend of the pod, ZB?
We're going to list him as a friend of the pod. And I don't care what happens to Teddy Two Gloves. He will always be a friend of the pod.
Love it.
Love the guy. That's a little bit about our segment. Who's got the juice and who's not. It's a beautiful segment, an idea by Zach, and
could be anybody having the juice.
Anyone could. Do I have the juice? I don't know.
Your sister, your second cousin, your grandma.
They can have it. It's a possibility, but Zach might get the juice if he makes a couple sales tomorrow. We'll see.
Right.
It's a possibility, but great segment.
Looking forward to the weekend. Let's talk a little bit of college football. Let's talk about maybe one of the greatest rivalries in the history of sports altogether. Not just football, not just pickleball, not just frisbee. This is Texas versus OU.
Oh man,
it's called OU Hate Week. Let me tell you about my week. I go into the office on Mondays, EB. I'm starting my day like I normally start it. There's someone new in the office. Her name's Maddie.
Yep.
She's nice. I introduced.
Shout out to Maddie on our first week.
Shout out Maddie, first week at Insight Global. We love her. I sit down, I introduce myself. We're starting a small talk. Oh yeah, where are you from? What are you doing? All this stuff. And Maddie goes, "Oh, you went to UT?" And I go, "Yeah. Where'd you go to school?" I went to OU, Boomer Sooner.
Did she do the horns down?
Oh, immediately everything changed. Immediately, everything changed.
Zach, where does she sit in the office?
Maddie sits right in front of me.
Right in front of your own eyes.
Against Texas. Texas OU hate week, and that's what you do to me on a Monday?
Are we going to call out the office leaders? I could easily, but I'm not going to do it right now. But, oh, my gosh.
You got to love it. I think the keys to the game, you gotta get after Jalen Hurts. The guy's been on fire. He's a human torch. Coming into the game, 2 tackles for OU hurt. They did not play versus Kansas. It looks like the injury report hasn't come out yet, but it looks like Lincoln is saying they're not going to play versus us. You got to find a way to put Hurts on the ground, make him uncomfortable. You can't let him just sit back there and torch you. You can't let him get away. You got to have someone spying on him the whole game.
Yeah, just like any other game, any other UTOU rivalry game. Both teams are going to put up points. It's really going to come down to getting after the quarterback. Who can get after the quarterback? Who can get the pressures, the hits? Who can get them on the ground? That's going to be crucial this game. I think the run game comes into play as well. I think Texas obviously has had the running back. I don't know what it is, Zach, but every single guy who is handed off a ball from Sam Ehlinger get hurt in some way. We got a backup true freshman quarterback playing running back, Roschon Johnson.
Gotta love Roschon.
You gotta love the sacrifice.
Guy's a friend of the pod. Guy's a true friend of the pod. You look at playoff implications here. Trending up, whatever team comes out with a victory, you got to think that they're playing in the Big 12 title game. You got to think that they're vying for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
I think truly you have a really, really seasoned veteran quarterback in Sam Ehlinger. He's coming in there. Hurts hasn't played in this type of atmosphere. The man went on record as saying, hey, I've played in the Iron Bowl. I've played against Auburn. I've played at Alabama. No, this is bigger. This is Texas football. This is playing against OU. So I think having a seasoned vet, I think having a quarterback like Sam Ehlinger coming into this game, it's going to be great. Producer Sam might have something to say on this.
No, just want to know what you think the score is going to be.
Ooh, score prediction. Love it. I'm going 48-43 Texas.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I think it'll be a little lower score. I think 34-27. I'm going to OU. And I just think Hurts, the storm continues. I think he has a good game. I think Ehlinger plays great, but OU outlasts him. But one last question. Zach, please tell me Gus Johnson is making the call.
Dicker! The kicker! Red River!
Hollywood Prime!
Immortality! Yeah, you got Joel Klatt. You got Gus Brown. It's going to be great. Tune in if you're watching on TV, if you're watching at home.
We'll see you there.
Oh, my goodness. Let's move into a couple of matchups. Bama versus A&M. Who you got, ZB?
Bama big. Bama big.
They like Vegas came out minus 16.5. Are you taking the points? Do you like the spread?
I love the spread. I'm taking the points and a little bit more.
Yeah.
Go Bama.
Yeah, I think A&M's trending down. Bama's too much. They're just going to handle them. Moving on to the next one. Whiskey, Michigan State. Vegas likes whiskey minus 10. What do you like, CB?
I think it's actually I'm taking Michigan State plus 10. I think Wisconsin wins this game. I think it's just going to be by a touchdown. It's the first real big test. And I think the Spartans bounce back from a big loss, but they just can't overcome Jonathan Taylor in the running attack.
I totally agree. It's going to be a defensive battle. It's going to be a real defensive battle. I think Whiskey squeaks it out by a field goal. Let's move on to the next one. Close to your heart, ASU, Washington State, and the Pirate. Who you got?
Speaking my language, Zach. Go Sun Devils. The Sun Devils win big, Sparky. They're gonna rout them. Washington State defense has been a problem all year. The defensive coordinator resigned on Monday, actually.
Wow.
So defense is gonna be in shambles. Leach can't keep up in the weather that we'll be seeing in Tempe. Jane Daniels, a true freshman, is gonna take it and live in the moment. It's gonna be great.
Love it. I got ASU in this one. I think Washington State it's just typical with a Leach team. They can play a little offense, can't play defense. It's, as I alluded to earlier in the pod, Swiss cheese. Let's move on to the big matchup of the weekend. LSU Tigers, Florida Gators. Who you got? Is Florida legit?
Is Florida legit is the real question. Big win against Auburn in the swamp, but now guess what, Gators? You're going to Death Valley. And Ed Orgeron, Joe Burrow, and company, and those freaking receivers out in LSU. They're going to win big. I'm taking the under 13 and a half. I'm going LSU by 3 touchdowns. Trask cannot survive. The defense for LSU has been shaky at times, but they performed well against Utah State and Jordan Love. I'm going LSU big.
Life is not easy in the SEC. Life is not easy. You just take on an Auburn team. You think you're riding high. Guess who's knocking on the door? It's Joe Burrow.
Whew.
It's Joe Burrow. Still in my nightmares. Still knocking on my door, I think.
I bet. I feel bad about that, man. On to the NFL. Let's get some quick picks, initial thoughts. Go from there. Texans, Chiefs.
Deshaun Watson. Love the guy. Absolutely love the guy.
Don't do it.
Last week, they kept him upright, and you saw what happened. The guy went freaking torched
Bananas,
earth.
Yeah.
I like the Texans by maybe a squeaker, maybe a field goal, maybe a touchdown. I like the Texans here. I don't know. You're looking at me wide-eyed.
Patrick Mahomes' desperation? Oh, my gosh. I'm going Patty Mahomes. I think he comes back together. Tyreek Hill's back. Is this game in Kansas City?
I'm not sure. I
think this game's in Kansas City.
Wow, that might change my pick.
And if it's in Kansas City, the crowd's going to be rallying around the team. Tyreek Hill's back. Momentum's in their favor. Mahomes, we've seen the leadership capabilities. I'm going Chiefs. All right, next game. We got Skins, Dolphins. Redskins versus Dolphins. This is the worst game we've seen in the past 15 years.
Who can keep their pants clean? Who can keep their pants clean? I don't know what to say about these two teams. It's a battle of the worst. It's the turd bowl of the century. It's Dolphins, Skins. The Skins brought my man Jay Gruden in to fire him at 4:55 in the morning. Ooh. It's a dumpster fire over there. I thought my man Colt McCoy was the answer. Who is the answer? Do the Skins have anything? Do the Dolphins have anything?
You would have thought you got to groom Dwayne Haskins a little bit more. I'm going with my guy Josh Rosen. I'm officially calling him a friend of the program. Josh Rosen and the Fins. If you want to call the Dolphins a stable franchise right now based off what the Redskins are doing, go ahead. Because that's what I'm doing with the most stable franchise. And Brian Flores and them are about to get the first win of the season in Miami.
Yeah, I like Rosen. I like the kid Rosen. I think they're going to continue to push the Skins into a realm that they've never seen before. Just absolute,
I agree.
Terrible football from them. Let's move on to the next one. Eagles-Vikings. Kind of an intriguing matchup here.
Good game. I don't really know. I think it's going to be a close game.
Who do you like here? Eagles are some people's Super Bowl favorites.
Zach. I am going with him. I'm going to pick him. Don't make me do it. Captain Kirk. Oh, man. I'm going with Kirk Cousins. I think he rides the momentum. I'm going with him. I think Diggs and Thielen, they're kind of feeling the rhythm a little bit. Cook is arguably the second best running back in the NFL right now based off of his performance. I think they pound Philly. Vikings defense is too good for Carson Wentz, and go from there.
I don't hate us doing a total 180 on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins.
I don't hate it.
I
might do it.
I've got them with the juice. I've got them trending up. I think the offense is too much. I think they control the line of scrimmage. I think Dalvin goes bananas. I think Kirk, plays within his means and gets the W for him. Let's go to the next game. Niners with the best-looking man in football, Jimmy Garoppolo, versus the Rams.
I think this is the best game that we're going to see all week. Niners are legit. I think we just saw that. They played Cleveland, and Cleveland just beat a good Baltimore team in Baltimore. Yeah. I'm not saying Cleveland's good, but that team was riding high. And poor San Francisco, first of all, best D-line in the game, arguably. O-line looks great. Garoppolo's making good decisions. The running game is strong. And you got some playmakers in Kittle. You got Godwin. You got Pettis, the rookie. You got some interesting little weapons. I like the Niners. I think they're the Patriots of the West when it comes to the model of football they're playing. I'm kind of going to go with the 49ers. I think they're going to make a statement win. And I think this division is going to go up to the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Niners analysis, all that stuff sounds really good. I think the Rams in that game against the Seahawks, I think they felt slighted on that field goal miss. That moves a little bit to the left. They win that game. I think they're looking for a bounce-back opportunity here. I think Goff might catch a little bit of a lick, might catch some juice. I think Donald maybe poses a little bit of a problem for that offensive line in the Niners. I think he gets after Garoppolo. I might have, as I've said, a little squeaker here. Squeaker for the Rams by maybe a field goal over the Niners. Moving on to the next one. Friend of the pod, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, man.
Taking on the trending down with no juice Falcons.
Came off a big win in Cincinnati. Tough win. We got it. I'm a homer. I'm going Cards. I'm going Cards by 14. Kyler Murray throws for 2, runs for 1. David Johnson with a big game on the ground, and Fitzgerald goes for 100 yards, Mr. Immortal. Cards.
Yeah, I'd say who can figure out this Falcons team? Who can figure it out? They've got talent all over the place, and they can't win football games. They can't win football games. Matty Ice throws picks. I mean, it's just bad. I'm gonna go Cards here. I don't know why. As a rookie quarterback, just
exciting.
The Falcons are that bad, I guess.
I think so.
I don't know. Last game here. Boys, Jets. Hey, Sam Darnold might be back.
Returning.
He had a bout with mono. Who gets mono as a grown man?
I don't want to make fun of the man, but I mean, wow. Mono as a grown man. Sam Darnold does. Is this a thing? I got to check with my wife, but do gingers, do they have maybe a more of a susceptibility to get it? I don't know. I'm going to throw this out there. Let's get some scientific studies done on this because I'm feeling for my man, Sam Darnold. This is a problem. He's back.
Sam Darnold. What's he going to do? He's fearing for his life. I heard him in one interview. He's like, well, I'm concerned that my body can't literally hold up. But, hey, trot on out there, kid. We love 14. We love you.
I heard the quote, I might die. I don't know.
What in the world? Hey, let's wrap it up here.
Wrap it up.
Is the NBA close? It is. Zion. Zion's here.
The debut of Zion. I heard the earthquakes. Nation round. I mean, it is incredible. The dude's player. I'm excited to get some instant analysis on him once the season starts, but he looks good. He looks like he plays the part. That Pelicans team is going to be strong. Zach, how excited are you?
Oh, my God. Few people that are a single name. LeBron, Zion, Kobe. Few people out there that can impact the league as a 19-year-old kid.
Talk about a man who's feeling the juice.
This guy can jump out the gym. He's a monster.
And also, the Lakers look very good. Very good.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell said they're a bunch of all-stars. They look like the Monstars. I mean, yeah, they're talented.
No.
Lakers Pelicans preview for the NBA Finals. Western Conference NBA Finals. I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's far.
Pelicans
if
missed the
Zion
playoffs.
carried them, I would definitely be excited. So.
No, I think the league should be scared. You got a pissed off LeBron, and you've got Anthony Davis, who 2 or 3 years ago you're talking about a guy like people would start their franchise around a guy like Anthony Davis. I think people are sleeping on that duo. If that can even be, can that be said? Can you sleep on LeBron and Anthony? People aren't saying enough about what they're going to accomplish.
I'm going to give a quick shout-out, Jacob Baker. I'm calling you out, but I also think that he might have wet his bed after that night because he was so excited. So I'll keep you updated if that's a true story, but Jacob Baker is an excited Los Angeles Lakers fan here in Austin, Texas.
Thanks so much to everyone tuning in to week 2 of the pod. We love
we love you guys.
Yeah,
we love you guys.
We're actually in love with you guys. we love hearing feedback. If you hate us, you love us. Anything in between. If you can't hear us, don't say much about it, but, just let us know what you think. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and subscribe, and don't be afraid to give us a review.
Listen in on Wednesday mornings. Follow us on Instagram. Look who's talking.